Urban Therapy with Sun 752. This your daily go getism number 633 for June 27, 2016. Tonight I want to talk to y'all about being broke but still trying to do the right thing. Being broke but still trying to do the right thing. Being broke but still trying to do the right thing. Almost sound like an episode of Good Times when you think about it. You know how like on Good Times, you know, even though they was dead broke, struggling, you know, barely can make ends meet. You know, Florida didn't work. James didn't want her to work. Wanted to be a stay-at-home mom, even though he didn't have decent means of being able to provide for his family, and they were both uneducated. Yet, they didn't believe in crime. James was real good at shooting pool, but Florida didn't want him to do that because it went against her moral code. They weren't supposed to make money that way. And, you know, none of the kids were thugs. They didn't go out there and get their hustle on. A couple of times, JJ did make a move, but that was frowned upon by the family. And this is the middle of Chicago in Cabrini Green projects. Now, even though this is a TV show, it's very representative of what a lot of people go through. You know, barely being able to keep their head above water. Sometimes we have bills that we can't pay. Of course, we've made those bills. You know, you see when you're working or you have an income, steady income coming in, it's hard to keep from building yourself up to a certain kind of lifestyle. So you might have a car note that obligates you to make a certain amount of money, or a house or an apartment that obligates you to make a certain amount of money. It's not an easy thing. It's really, really tough. It's hard. And the hardest part about all of it is staying positive. Staying positive. You know, maintaining that positive attitude that will keep you from, you know, knocking somebody up in the back of their head, knocking somebody over their head and taking their shit, or breaking in somebody's crib, breaking in somebody's car, putting a gun in somebody's face and taking what they had. You know? Now, if you weren't brought up to make money that way, or to even see the value in doing things that way, more than likely you're not going to take those kind of chances. Like, those means of making money don't come to your mind. But who hasn't fantasized about robbing a bank? It's just that some people have lived out their fantasy. You know, bills got really, really high, and their ability to be able to pay those bills got really, really low. So, you know, you start scoping out, planning out, maybe getting with somebody who has done it before, and they take you under their wing and show you how to do this shit. And there's a certain adrenaline rush that goes along with robbing banks. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not encouraging anybody to take those kind of chances. But what I'm trying to show is how the mind works when you need something or want something. Let's keep it the need, because at least then it's half-assed justifiable. But if you're about to lose your home, you're about to lose your car, you're about to lose your family, or so you think you're about to lose your family because you don't have the means to provide for them in the way that you used to provide for them before, you know, you just might consider doing some shit. You know, if not robbing a bank, because that's really, really dangerous. But let's say like selling drugs. You know, probably everybody has some kind of drug dealer in their family on some level, whether it's hand-to-hand, moving weight, or kingpin. You know, and you figure since they're already established and they're willing to put you on, help you out, get you to the point where you can, you know, make a couple of dollars really, really fast, or so it seems, and really, really, really easy, or so it seems. You know, you make a move. And you do that, you learn the game, and you do that until you get back on your feet. But now it feels like, yo, being on my feet feels really good. And this ain't hard. I can do this. But when you start talking about selling drugs, man, you open up a whole can of worms of violence, retaliation, territorial interest, jealousy. It's just, and not to mention running from the cops, always trying to duck the law, going back and forth to court, either for yourself or for somebody else that you're close to who's going through that. And it's a gang mentality. It's just really hard not to consider making moves like that when you see somebody else doing it. It seems like they do it without any kind of problems, but you don't understand the mental stress, the mental and emotional stress that's involved with getting into that kind of life, because it's a lifestyle. It's not just something that somebody does. It's a lifestyle, and it can really come back to haunt you. Who wants to come back and be haunted? That ain't cool. So, prostitution and exotic dancing. Now, a lot of people don't look at exotic dancing as being negative. Some people say, it's just, if you have the body to be able to do it and the energy to be able to do it, what's wrong with it? You're not hurting nobody. You're not doing anything illegal. Well, anybody who knows anything about that life, whenever you're into a lifestyle that involves sex and or drugs, then there are going to be problems. So you can say that exotic dancing doesn't necessarily involve sex, but yes, it does. It does. Because number one, there's sexual arousal that's involved with the exotic dancing. On top of that, there's a lot of money in the prostitution side of that, and it's quicker. Because these dudes who come and throw money all up in the club, showing off in front of their friends, dropping all of this money. You give them some ass, they gonna come like this. Women know that shit. Like, this dude, he gonna nut like this. But that nut gonna net me 200. 5 minutes of work, 200. Meanwhile, I had to dance on that stage for hours. Or at least an hour. I had to do these lap dances for the rest of the night. Having these dudes touch on me, dig up in my crevices, feeling on my titties, grabbing my ass. It's dirty, it's nasty, it's slimy. And it's orgy-like. That's what it is. So it's not as easy as it sounds, and it's definitely not as positive as the spin people try to put on it. But these are the kind of things that we think about when the bills get high and out of our control. We figure that we gotta do something. That whole prostitution piece, that goes for males and for women and men. So does the exotic dancing thing. Slimy ass dancing it is. Anyway, this is how I feel about it. I wouldn't want to engage in any profession, no matter what the money is. I wouldn't want to engage in any profession that I wouldn't encourage my children to do, or that I wouldn't encourage my children to get into as well. So if I sell drugs, I'm surely not going to encourage my child to do that. If I'm an exotic dancer, I'm sure as hell not going to want her to do anything like that, ever. And that's a good way to be able to track your actions and to curtail any negative ambitions that may be lurking in the back of your mind. Good things happen to those who wait. Great things happen to those who grind, and anything can happen to those who go for theirs. So go hard, go for yours, and remember, when it comes down to it, the best way to stay positive is to say to yourself, I'm not going to do it if I don't want my kids to do it. I ain't doing it if I won't let them do it. Believe me, they say God makes a way, always makes a way. Something makes a way. You can call it the universe, you can call it karma, you can call it luck, you can call it whatever you want to call it. The bottom line is, if you're a decent person and you stay patient, your blessings are going to come to you. Ain't no way around that. Your blessings are going to come. So you just have to be a little bit patient. There's a difference between waiting and being patient. Try to remember that. I'm going to write that down. Anyway. Y'all have a good night. We'll get into the whole Urban Therapy with Son show this Wednesday. I'll get into that tomorrow. You know, unorthodox. What is it? Unorthodox. Unconventional. Or normal and ordinary. So we'll get into that. We'll get into that tomorrow. I'll holler at y'all later. Y'all have a good night.